Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is John Fettern. I and my friend at Yext, Chad Arango, will be taking you through this webinar today. We know your time is valuable and that we hope we make the most of it for the next 45 minutes or so. Just to introduce myself, my name is John Fettern. I'm Marketing Director at DSG, a full-service digital marketing consultancy headquartered in the Philadelphia suburb of Malvern, Pennsylvania. I happen to work in Connecticut from my home. I do get to go down to Malvern sometimes. I joined DSG in 2017, so I've been with them for about 3.5 years. And I came there after a 17-year run at Wallstrom Group, where I started out basically as a Yellow Page account executive and ended up after 17 years as digital account director. So probably my path is probably a familiar journey for those who are also considered grizzled veterans of the industry that are on this call. I have many stories to tell, none of which would be appropriate for this webinar. So we will not be doing that. As I said, I am joined today by Chad Arango of Yext. And Chad, if you want to give us your bio, that would be fantastic.
Great. Yes, figured we could spend the next 45 minutes kind of talking through this. John, everyone at DSG, so happy to be here. The audience, of course, for dialing in. But yes, my name is Chad Arango. I'm our Senior Director of Global Partner Growth at Yext. So I'm really responsible for enabling and evangelizing our partners, of course, around the globe. And I've had a pretty interesting career. Like John, I actually first started off in the city of DC, selling ads in the local newspaper. From there, I went into consulting at CEB, now owned by Gartner. I first joined Yext in 2013 as one of our first team members on our partner team, and went from individual contributor to sales manager to vice president. Really helped grow the channel to over 4,000 partners, a wonderful and very fun IPO in 2017. After that, I took a little bit of a break and I led platform partnerships at a cloud-based phone system called AirCall, based out of Paris, France, where I helped them launch their marketplace, a really great Series C. And of course, it's great to be back at Yext, and I look forward to walking you guys through my section of this presentation. So thanks so much, John. Turning back to you.
Oh, no problem, Chad. Thank you. Before we go any further, I do want to let you know any questions that you guys have. There is the questions function on your panel. So if you have any questions as we go, please feel free to type them in. We will be covering those at the end of the presentation. So in today's webinar, we're going to focus on the difference between paid and organic search. And then we'll dive in, we'll explore a few ways that you can use the data from both to spend your ad dollars a little more wisely. And then we will be diving further into organic optimization, as Chad's going to walk us through the Yext platform and show basically how it helps towards smarter ad spend by preventing a leaky marketing budget. So with that said, I'm going to dive in. Now, you notice that the title of this webinar was Mashups and Peanut Butter Cups. So here is your first allegory of the webinar. I am a big fan of musical mashups, primarily ones that combine two songs from totally different genres. And for those of you who aren't familiar, a mashup is a recording created by digitally combining and synchronizing instrumental tracks with vocal tracks from two or more different songs. So for example, one of my favorites is the mashup of Billy Idol and Bob Marley, which would be Rebel Yell and Get Up, Stand Up. We have Pink Floyd and the Bee Gees, besides the fact that they're both British, not much in common with their musical styles. And then kind of my favorite, what I consider the magnum opus, is Ozzy Osbourne and Earth, Wind and Fire, a combination of Crazy Train and September. If you are looking to try anyone or see what a mashup is, that is probably the one that I would start with. But be careful. These are all available on YouTube, and there's a good chance that you will get sucked down into the proverbial rabbit hole as you start looking at these. So what does this have to do?
Just to quickly chime in, if anyone has Bee Gees, and the Bee Gees documentary that is on HBO is fantastic. So I would just want to
loved it, Chad. I agree.
For you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something if you have a chance, and boy, with everybody home from the pandemic, who hasn't been watching a lot of TV. So
Yeah.
So what does this have to do with what we're going to talk about today? Again, it's an allegory. What we're going to be talking about is taking your paid and organic data and putting them together in a way so that you spend smarter ad dollars. So PPC and SEO, also known as organic, and PPC is also known as SEM, really are separate marketing channels. They have unique roles, they have unique purposes, but that doesn't mean that they need to work independently. And something that we've seen at DSG and what I've saw at Wallstrom as well is that sometimes these two channels are kind of siloed. Thing is, they both have a common goal. They are both designed to attract people to click to your website. If you take a more holistic approach to search, it'll help you navigate what's becoming an increasingly complex landscape. And Chad's going to kind of get into that complexity a little bit later on in the webinar. The problem is this doesn't happen enough in practice. And sometimes if you're an agency that maybe has purview only over PPC, you don't get to really see any of the SEO data, or if you're a web designer or web dev and you're doing optimizations on SEO for a client, you don't have purview or sight into their paid side. So what we would tell you is that if that's the case, try to see if you can make a connection with the other agency or with the other department so that you can kind of take this data from both sides and mesh it up, because you'll see that it actually makes a lot of sense to do so in terms of how you can spend smarter ad dollars. So before we go into examples, I want to show you how, basically DSG approaches this data mashup. I want to back up the train just a little bit, get into some definitions. There may be some folks on here who, really don't understand the difference between paid and organic. So let me do that real quick. So within the search engine return page, also known as a SERP. So if you hear me say SERP, I'm not having an apoplexy. That's the actual abbreviation. There is a mixture of both organic and paid results. The first few results that you see on that page are pay-per-click ads. They are paid for by businesses, and Google has judged that those ads are relevant to your query. What follows that are the organic results. These are the maps, the rich snippets, and website listings. These are also known as natural results, and basically, at that point, the search engine, whether it be Google or Bing, has judged that to be the most relevant to your query. So here's an example on the right-hand side. I took a screenshot. I understand it's a little small trying to get an entire SERP SERP onto a web on the slide is a little bit tricky, but you can see at the top, there are ads at the top, usually between 1 and 4. Then you get to the map pack, and then underneath of that are the organic listings. And if I could scroll down on this, you would see generally, especially for some more competitive categories, you will also see ads at the bottom of the page as well. The key here is understanding the difference between organic and paid and how the data from both can work together is really critical to maximize your ad dollars. So for example, and we're going to kind of scrape the surface here with our examples. There's a lot more that we could delve into, but just to kind of give you a flavor of how DSG kind of looks at things. First example, we're going to show you how to use your organic keyword data to inform and optimize your paid campaigns. So in this case, we identified high-ranking organic keywords and then compared them to those same keywords on our paid campaign. So keywords with good organic positioning indicate that you may be able to spend less on those keywords in your paid campaign because you're getting good positioning organically. In some cases, you may actually be able to stop bidding on those keywords entirely. Generally, we just scale back bids at DSG. It's very rare that we'll just totally pause keywords, but it has happened. This works especially well for some of your higher cost keywords. So in this case, in this example on the right, in green, we identified 4 keywords that had very good organic positioning that we're basically paying a lot for. So in these cases, we went back and we scaled back the bids on those keywords. We didn't eliminate them because they're crucial, but this would actually allow us to spend our paid dollars a little bit more wisely towards some keywords that maybe need a little bit of a boost that don't have such good organic positioning. Like, for example, commercial laundry equipment service here. You can see organically positioned not so well. So we'd want to continue to bid on that one through paid. Again, really what this is a way for you to spend smarter and to guard against wasted ad dollars. Now, our second example is a bit of the reverse. In this case, we've identified keywords with an above average click-through rate on the paid campaign, indicating that these keywords are of high value and relevance. So what we would do is that we take those high CTR keywords on the paid side and take a look at them on the organic side to see what our rank is there. And if our organic click-through rate is low, we will make optimizations to our SEO strategy to get those keywords to rank better. So in this case, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 keywords that have an above average click-through rate that are really not positioning well organically in terms of click-through. So what we would do is make sure that for our SEO keyword tactics that we focus on these keywords. And the way to do that, there are some very common ways to do that from the SEO world, which would be putting the keywords in the title of the page, putting them within the meta tags throughout the page of the copy. And even in some cases, you may want to take your URLs and append them with these specific keywords, especially if they are crucial to your business. Again, what we're looking to do is extend your digital reach without extending your marketing budget. So basically, that's how we kind of look at things at DSG. We've really scraped the surface here. It's a 60,000-foot view. In this case, we focused on keyword data, which is traditionally the heart and soul of both SEO and PPC. But due to technology advances, how people are searching has gone well beyond just typing keywords and phrases into a search engine. So I'm going to hand this over to Chad. He's going to expand upon this evolution and how Yext can play a pivotal role, in your digital strategy. So let me go ahead and switch over to you, Chad. I can see your screen. I think you're good.
Unmute myself, the theme of I think of COVID-19 in the professional world. So thanks so much, John. Obviously very insightful, and paid efforts are drastically important, especially when you look at quick returns. But I thought the best way to kind of bridge the gap between two differentiated things is to find something that has common ground. I don't know if you guys have seen Sign Guy before, but he's one of my favorite human beings on earth. And I think it's pretty relevant, right? Ads are great, but not always does the right ad reach the right person at the exact right time, which is really why we want to push that having a good paid strategy accompanied with a great organic strategy is a fantastic 360 approach to managing your business online. And one thing, and I'm not trying to say that ads are not the way to go, but if you look at the autofill, of course, on Google, when you just search, Google ads, you see some things that I think we can all relate to. But I think anybody in this audience has probably bought something from an ad that they saw, let's say, on Instagram. But I think it's important to make sure that you're optimizing your business for no matter what a searching consumer might be looking for. So to set the stage, I wanted to kind of hit home on what Yext is really foundational to from a small business or from a marketing perspective. So on the search engine optimization portion, we normalize business information and we create clean, structured, consistent business info across every place a consumer may interact with your business and making you more relevant and trusted in search. On the paid per click, SEM, direct advertising, we call it like the last mile of search. You spend the dollars to work with John and his team to hit the right ad to the right person for the right keyword. But what if I get that ad and then I go to my smartphone, I put the business in my Waze app, I go to their Yelp page to maybe look at photos, and I see conflicting, missing, or inaccurate information? It could kind of maybe take those dollars spent in great ads and provincially kind of remove the leaky budget aspect that John had mentioned. And then lastly, if you're focusing on building a great website, make sure the content, your hours of operation, your payment methods, the services that you provide, even the URL is linked to every place a searching consumer might interact or come across your business in search. And now to kind of go into why all of this is drastically important, right? The way that we as consumers have searched, or the way that we as consumers search, it's fundamentally changed, right? We don't necessarily search in a singular keyword, we ask questions. And these questions reveal specific and very high intent, and it changes as we go through the journey online. I might look for a pizza restaurant near me, or I might ask Alexa, what's the best one that's open now? When I select a business, I might want to go to their website or go to their TripAdvisor page to view, reviews, photos of the business. And then when I make a decision, I might put it in my smartphone or any GPS or navigational app to then go and transact at the business. So there are multiple stages in the way that we in consumers search for businesses online, and having a great organic campaign can help capitalize on this. And in fact, 4 out of 5 of us use search specifically in this manner. And where we are searching is also evolving. A lot of the market might look at Yext as just a listings product to make name, address, and phone number consistent, but that's not the case, right? Listings and where we search, it's evolved from your directories or the yellow pages that are probably underneath your sink to allow your son or daughter to reach the sink. But it involves major search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, mapping services and GPS systems like Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, Uber. Social sites are considered a place where consumers search for businesses like Facebook, Foursquare, and Instagram. And of course, voice assistants and AI like Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant, Cortana, and even ones of the future. So one thing to take away here is that we may start our search on Google, but we go through a journey where we interact with other digital storefronts to make a decision about local businesses. So aside from the way that we search and where we search, the data is also drastically evolving. There's a MapQuest listing from the 90s where you can maybe see the phone number or click to print out the driving directions. But today there are hundreds of data fields that you can publish about your business, like if you offer free breakfast or have free Wi-Fi, or your hotel rooms have a pool room view, or your restaurant has transgender bathrooms. Just to give an example, Google recently launched 40 new fields just for the hospitality industry around COVID protocols and cleanliness. So what I'm getting at is that us as consumers rely on accurate information online to make decisions about local businesses, because we ask questions like a grocery store that has in-store shopping, or does a specific business take online appointments? These are the questions we ask to eventually go and transact at a business, but there's a little bit, I wouldn't call it a wall or a barrier, but there are aspects that us as business owners and marketers have to realize is we can't control where a consumer is going to begin, continue, or end their search journey online. So we must be forced to be perfect, accurate, and consistent everywhere that may be. And it may sound like a daunting task, but that's why I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit more about that. And lastly, on that note, your business is way more than name, address, and phone number, right? It incorporates things like your core business information, right? Your hours of operation, pickup and delivery services, the neighborhood you service. What's the email contact? What are your drop-off protocols? Are you temporarily closed because of what's going on in the world, right? Even rich attributes like products and services. Are you a woman-led business? Are you a Black-owned business? Veteran-led business, right? All things that consumers can see to make a selection of your business. And even like vertical specific data, menu information, how you can make an order right online, right? What are the bios or menu items or allergens that might exist? What is the COVID-19 protocols at your business? These are all things that if you publish and manage across the web, you're basically creating a much wider net and showcasing a lot more about your business or what you offer than maybe the competition down the street. And to hit home on that point, we see that businesses that have a complete online presence, hours, reviews, photos, relevant information, see about a 200% increase in confidence as a consumer. And I think that's pretty relevant, right? If the dating app scene was kind of past my prime, but if you were to match with somebody, you would want to make sure that they have the right photo, where they're from, what their profession is. Or if you're looking for an item on eBay, you're probably not going to select one that doesn't have basic information to showcase exactly what you're going to be purchasing. So beautifully and wonderfully enough for the audience, and of course our great partners like DSG, we've created a platform that allows businesses and marketers to store, manage, update, and keep track of everything about their business, the facts, so they can stay relevant and connected to searching consumers. And this platform is directly integrated to the world's largest network of third-party services, anything from Google and Apple and TripAdvisor, down to YP, vertical specific sites like Vitals, Nextdoor, for example. And we've actually done a study that this network receives almost 3 times the amount of views than an actual business's website does. So I'm not trying to say that your website is not important. It's critical to your online presence, but the highest intent traffic, consumers making a local search for a local business, are going to these third-party services first. Think of it as like your first impression to a searching consumer. And here's a quick example. Here's a group chat with my brother and father where we're trying to decide on a restaurant to go to. So my brother makes a recommendation for this spot called Undici, and you can see that if I tap on Undici, it brings me directly to Google asking to use my current location, and from there bringing me directly to their GMB page. So you can see in a moment of intent, because this business is properly managing their online presence, I can make a very clear decision on going to this business without seeing an ad, without having to go to their website. So capturing that high intent traffic is absolutely critical. And maybe my brother got a really good ad for Undici because he was searching bucatini, and he sends it to me. And if I go through this process and I can't find the right information, I might make or change a different route on where I'm planning to dine. And looking at the example that John had showed in the beginning of Jackson Hewitt, this tax firm, I took a quick look at SpyFu and I saw that since February, 97% of the clicks to their website occurred from organic listings. So it's really critical to showcase the fact that managing organic is arguably just as important as doing any direct paid campaigns. Prevent that leaky budget and ensure your business is accurate everywhere a consumer may find it. And to go into the search engine results page that John had mentioned, I wanted to talk a little bit about, thanks Cody, talk a little bit about how ranking works in the organic fashion. So for Google, for example, there are 3 factors that come into play for your business to be ranked in search. And the first one is relevance, right? How well does your business match to what a consumer is searching for? And the second one is distance, right? We search a lot through our mobile devices and look for businesses in our immediate area. So making sure that you're reflected accurately on where you're actually located is critical. And then lastly is this concept of prominence, which is really popularity or how well known your business is. And prominence takes 3 things into consideration, which is not just the star rating you have, but the number of reviews you have, the recency of those reviews, how often you respond to them. Think about reviews from a digital marketing perspective as a spectator sport. Consumers, even if they're not searching for you, but they come across your business, see reviews, read them, see how you as a business owner responds, overall builds, again, trust, relevance, and confidence in your business. So I'll just put those 3 things into practice. I did a search this morning, and I'll show you what the search engine results page returned based on my search query. So if I just search for a salon near me, I literally got the business that is closest to me. I don't have my camera on, but I haven't had a haircut in a year, so it's getting pretty long. But if I get a little bit more specific in my search, like I'm looking for the best salon near me, if you notice Soul Salon on the bottom here, they actually move straight up to the top because they have an excellent star rating. So Google is returning Soul Salon as a business to be relevant to the best salon near me. Now, when I get even more specific in this, and from an AdWords perspective, as a business owner, bidding on salon in Hoboken that takes appointments, that's drastically expanding your budget. So let's make sure that we can update that information where consumers can find it and make decisions about your business. So taking this query, which gives specific intent, you see 3 new businesses come into play, even ones not in Hoboken, because these businesses match exactly what I'm looking for. When you add the term best in a search query, Google, for example, filters out any business that doesn't have a 4-star rating or above. I added the term open now. So you can see Google also adds a filter to only showcase businesses that are specifically open now. And then I'm looking for a business that takes online appointments. And you can see that direct correlation between the information in their Google listing correlated exactly to what I'm searching for. So at the core of what we do is we help businesses answer high intent questions everywhere that question may be asked. So this isn't just a query, it's a question that has components which Google, Alexa, Siri, for example, Yelp, Apple Maps, they all need to understand components about your business so they can return you as a possible result. So taking in your reputation, what's your primary category, specifically where you're located, your hours of operation, and of course, additional attributes. And if you look back to the slide where I said our businesses are way more than just your name, address, and phone number, you could see it coming into play right here. And then why intent is drastically important as a business owner and as a marketer. We see that just about 70% of search queries contain 3 words or more, hitting home to my point that we're not searching on a singular keyword basis, we're asking questions. And because of this, we see that these queries that contain 3 words or more convert at almost 3 times the amount of just a singular keyword. If someone is searching on a keyword like I just looking for pizza, and you're working with John and his team to deliver that great ad and get that click, that's fantastic. But what is if I'm looking for a pizza restaurant that offers gluten-free items? That's where maximizing your online profiles through a product like Yext can help ensure that your organic is backing up and supporting all the dollars you are putting towards direct ads. When you can capture, excuse me, capturing intent of searching consumers just drastically increases your discoverability in search. If you remember, I said 4 out of 5 consumers use search to specifically find local information. And we as consumers use search in 3 distinct ways. To go somewhere, whether it be a physical location or a digital destination, or to know something, or to buy something. The 3 key ways that we use search. So if I want to go somewhere, taking control of your listings to make sure that you have accurate name, address, and phone number is critical when consumers are looking to go somewhere to transact. If they want to know something about a business, like do they have transgender bathrooms? Is this a kid-friendly restaurant? Or does this physician accept Cigna insurance? Leveraging the Yext platform by adding rich content about your business helps you stay relevant and connected to searching consumers, and also an opportunity to showcase how you may be better or differentiated from a competitor. And then lastly, when I'm looking to buy something and I'm looking for the best, let's say coffee near me, ensuring that you're tracking, managing, responding your reputation so you can ensure that you appear when it matters most. If you remember, when I add the term best, a search engine will filter out a business that does not have 4 stars or above. And of course, Yext will keep you in the know, right? It allows you to understand customer engagement in search, whether it be clicks, conversions. You can monitor and respond to reviews across this network right from this platform. And you can even see how you stack up against your competitors based on keywords that you specifically care about at the end of the day, so you can gain a holistic picture of your business performance online. So with our analytics and our direct integrations to our publisher network, in one place, track how many times your listings get viewed, or how many Facebook page views you get in one day. Maybe seeing a huge spike in this, maybe it's time to call John and see how you can leverage a company like Tiger Pistol or drive targeted ads on Facebook. You can see specific customer actions in Google Analytics, like even phone calls by the hour of your business, know how to staff appropriately, or when you don't need 5 people at the front desk. You can monitor and respond to your reviews, watch your reviews, your ratings change over time, and even gain insights and analytics like word commonality in the reviews, so you know what consumers are specifically saying about your business. And as I'd mentioned, being able to see how you compare against your competitors in search, all from one place. And Yext ultimately will keep you in control of your business online. You can listen, respond to your customers. You can manage all the critical facts about your business, like where you're located, when you're open, if there are appointment booking links, the link to your website. You can track those critical customer actions to see what consumers are doing in search. And you can own your digital storefront. You worked hard to build your business, make sure it's exactly how you want it to appear, where the lion's share of your potential consumers are first seeing your business. Control the branding. Make sure that if a consumer wants to suggest an edit, you are in control of that information. So just to wrap this up, hitting home on a few success stories to showcase how our product and with partnerships like DSG can help drive immense growth for your business online. Cherry Creek is a mortgage broker that had 300 plus mortgage offices. And by leveraging Yext with our listings and our reviews product, they were able to respond to reviews more. They saw a massive increase in website clicks and a massive increase in phone calls as well, because they had complete, accurate, and rich information about their business and overall more discoverable in search. And to bring back the pizza aspect, we think of every pizza restaurant as the same. Well, it's not, especially talking to business owners who have put their life's work into building their business. Make sure you can allow your business to stand out on things that make you unique. So publishing things that are relevant, accurate about you everywhere can drastically increase website clicks, phone call clicks, and of course, listing clicks as well. So just to wrap this up, and thank you so much for listening, Yext helps businesses publish their business information everywhere. It allows you to manage, measure, and improve your online reputation across this network, all from one place. You can capture that high intent traffic and drive more conversions with rich, relevant, and accurate business information everywhere. And you can gain those valuable insights, right? Gaining that holistic view of your business performance online. And as a global company, powering almost 400 million facts about businesses across the globe, from the world's largest Fortune 500 companies to millions of small businesses, we are so enthused to be able to create a product, especially in the world that we live in today, that helps small businesses attract more customers, keep them longer, and continually grow their business online. So thank you so very much, and I will pause for any questions that may or may not have come in.
Yeah, we actually did get 2 questions. I'll read the first one. I'll have you take it. And then I will say the second allegory, as described by this slide that you guys see, is about peanut butter cups. And just a little story. I have been a big fan of what I call the perfection of confection since I've been about 5 years old. So if you want to take a look at your paid and organic data, you could also think of them as 2 great tastes that taste great together. So with that, I want to take a few questions. And Chad, if you could just go to the last slide, the thank you slide would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So that peanut butter cup is not dancing around for everybody constantly while we answer some questions. So a question came in, Chad. I work for a concrete and aggregates company, and the majority of our business is with contractors who already know us. So it's a B2B. So people who would want a driveway paved would go through a contractor and not come to us. We do some in-person sales, so this would definitely help with all that. So what we're talking about, Chad, with Yext and some of the other things that DSG does, with Yext and with paid. But do you have any thoughts or advice on our biggest issue? Hiring mixer truck drivers and other construction folks. How can we leverage these kind of search tools for hiring in addition to the business stuff? A fantastic question. Chad, I don't know. I have my thoughts. I don't know if you wanted to, address that on your end as to maybe how Yext can help with recruitment.
Well, I think it could go back, and I'm trying to grasp the question, and I think it could go back that whether you're a consumer or a potential candidate for a position, I'm probably going to go online and research the business that I might work for. I might want to see what consumers that have used the business, what they think about it. I might want to see photos of the business or the office space. Or I might want to make sure that I can easily triangulate that website to look at job openings. So I think to make sure that you have a complete online presence can not only help searching consumers, but also searching candidates for your business as well. Let me know if Brady, if that didn't really answer the question.
Well, I wanted to kind of chime in too with that, just from kind of the DSG perspective. We have been in the past year getting a lot of requests for help with recruitment. And so we have been working on programs, and some of them are specific to what you saw here today. Some of it's been paid search specific to recruitment. And there's some other tactics that we've used outside of that. So Brady, if following this webinar, we'd be happy to get on the horn with you to see if there's something that we can do or we can recommend to you going forward. Because yeah, we understand your pain in terms of recruitment issues. We've seen this not only like for your industry, but for a number of industries this year. That seems to be one of the main issues that that folks are having. There's just not enough good help out there. So hopefully that addressed it. Brady, again, get in touch with us after the webinar. We'll be happy to talk with you. Second question came in. Do you recommend using the organic keyword data to judge whether or not you should be bidding on your brand in paid search? Well, that would be worth an entire webinar probably of discussion. Historically, there's been a lot of discussion, and we've had this with our clients too, as to whether they should be bidding on their brand name in paid search when organically they're ranking very well. And God forbid you are not ranking well with your own brand name. That is a totally separate issue. You really should be. But what I would say to that is it really does depend on a few factors. One, take a look at the cost of the brand keywords that you have. How much are you spending on those in paid? Usually it's going to be just a fraction of what you're buying from your category keywords. Okay, so that's usually money well spent, especially if you have competitors bidding against you. And it is pretty few and far between nowadays that you don't have at least one of your competitors also bidding on Google AdWords or Microsoft ads, etc. You have to be careful scaling that back. One of the main considerations of that, and again, another topic of high controversy, worth another webinar, is that your competitors can actually bid on your brand name to have their ad show when people are searching for your business. So the way we see it usually is that by bidding on your brand, you are actually buying brand insurance at that point to make sure that your people searching for you are not going to be basically picked off by your competitors because they see their ad instead of yours. So again, maybe a webinar for the future, to be honest with you, because there's always has been a discussion about that, and especially kind of centered around the ethics of Google allowing for competitive bidding. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I could be here for another hour if we did that. But that's basically how I would address that question. I think that's it. Let me see. Yep, those are all the questions that we have. I do want to thank you for joining us today. If you do want additional information on how DSG and Yext can help you kind of bridge that paid and organic divide, or anything that we have discussed today. If you're a current client, contact your DSG representative. Or if you're not, you can find us, you can go to our website. We're also very active on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm going to give a shout out to Grace Leffler, who not only helped to put together this webinar, but is also our social media guru and does a fantastic job. We will be having more webinars this year. I'm trying to lobby to get one of the webinar topics to be regarding the psychopathy of people who walk down the street with an open jar of peanut butter while spooning it with their fingers, but I have not been successful on that. Probably not going to happen. But again, I do want to thank you for joining us. And Chad, thank you for co-piloting with me today.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. So John, Grace, thank you so much, the team at DSG, and definitely look forward to the next one. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone.